We'll call the Board of Public Works meeting of Monday, June 14th to order. Number 2, approval of minutes of June 1st. Motion by Mr. Fire, second by Mr. Rosendich. Comments, corrections? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I see no citizen comments here, so we'll go to construction update presented by Chris Hawley, Street Superintendent. Chris.
Good evening, everybody. It's good to be back and chatting with you guys tonight. I just want to go through some notable accomplishments in the last 2 weeks. I want to start out with Dairy Fest set up and takedown for traffic control on South Central. Went really well this year again. And a seasoned crew that's been doing it for many years. They did a great job. This year, the South Central closure went from Vets to 7th Street instead of 14th because of the reverse parade. And Detour this year utilized 7th Street rather than 14th to Oak from about 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. and all went well during the closure, I'm told. Just kind of get you guys caught up on weed ordinance violations also. Gene has sent out 60 notices so far this year, and we only had to mow 4 of them. So just to let you guys know that it's been a busy year for weed ordinance violations, but once the letters go out, have great compliance after that. Asphalt mill and place projects are moving right along. Arlington, Lincoln, and Cypress. Ditching, tiling, black dirt, and seeding is completed. The first layer of asphalt binder is down with driveways and final asphalt lift scheduled for this week. So we'll start putting that final layer and driveways starting tomorrow. Same with Larch, 5th Adler, same thing. First layer of asphalt binder is down and final lift will be scheduled this week. Adams, first layer of asphalt is down, but we still have to do some black dirting and seeding scheduled for next week. Briarwood is pulverized. The guys raised all the manholes and the water valves there, and that pavement, the binder is scheduled for this week. And if they get that done, they'll also put the finish on Briarwood. 3rd Mulberry to Magnolia will begin tomorrow, and Magnolia 3rd to Adler will also begin tomorrow. Just give you an update on Ash, Becker to Franklin. As you know, the water department was in there earlier this year, and all of their water main replacement and services are done. The gas company is in there right now, replacing main and services right now, and they expect to be done in a week or 2. And after we're done with 3rd and Magnolia, we'll be heading to Ash next, so in a couple weeks probably. Asphalt overlays, McMillan. It's got a good start on it. Talking with Cody this morning, and that is scheduled for paving. That first phase between St. Joe's and Fig is scheduled for paving on June 28th. Now, the unique thing about that hill there is we're going to actually have American Asphalt come in with a pulverizer and give it a little bit of a rough edge so the asphalt doesn't slide down that hill. And we did that on Upham a couple years back. We did the same thing, so we're going to do that again on that hill on McMillan from St. Joe's to Fig. And that's all I have for you tonight. I entertain any questions if you have any.
Anybody have any questions? Mr. Rosendich.
I travel that area, and maybe this isn't the place, but pretty much every day, especially now with my children in summer school at Grant.
Mm-hmm.
Was there any look through or traffic things like that in St. Joe's and Upham, and as well as Upham and Oak? It is crazy down there.
Mr. Turchie can answer that, I believe.
I was there at lunch today, so I sat in line for 35, 40 minutes. What's happening is everyone's making that turn into the school site, and I don't think they're able to get into the vehicles, along with it being lunchtime. I tried calling the school district. Their phone for the school was busy all afternoon. And then I tried calling the main school board office and asked, and got just a voice message there also. But I'm trying to find out exactly how they're loading on their site, because the cars that were trying to get in were stacked. And I went over and watched for a while at lunch, and they can't get in and through the parking lot, so they can't get off of Oak Avenue. So they're basically trapped and using the entire corridor as their loading zone. And either they have to and that's why I'm trying to figure out what they're doing, whether they should maybe stagger the release of the kids so that you don't have as many vehicles in one shot.
Yeah, we've had our kids at summer school there for a couple of years now. They only let you enter in off of Buckland. At 8 o'clock this morning when school was supposed to be in session, the traffic was backed up all the way east past Culver's this morning. And I had already dropped my children off. So I can only imagine what it's like even at noon. So I would definitely think there should be something we need to work out with the school district sooner than later. Because, you can't S through their parking lot and they only have one lane of drop off.
That is a problem, because if you have an issue where a person's waiting for their kid, they're going to sit and wait 20, 30, 40 seconds, which then now delays everyone else. I calculated just roughly from what I saw, maybe 30 hours of delay created by this one instance at lunch.
Yeah, I know that they're in the assumption after a few days it will get better, but I don't think they're taking into consideration McMillan is closed. So you can't even go up to take a left to get out of there. You've got to take a right. So everything is getting bottlenecked in there. I would suggest we need to work with the school district sooner than later to figure that out. And it sounds like you have already started that.
I'm certainly trying.
I mean, I noticed there was a problem already just with all the traffic that's coming up McMillan, then going to that, you want to say 8 lanes of traffic at the intersection up at Upham, which is already a problem. Now with school, it's even worse.
Yeah.
So just food for thought.
Anybody else? I do have one question, Chris. The painting on the streets. I don't think we did that last year.
Oh, yeah, we did.
We did, huh?
Yeah, we did. We had a lot of breakdowns last year, but he's been out for about 3 weeks now, and he's doing
Yeah, I
that.
see you're doing it now. I thought you didn't do much, and maybe you didn't do as much last year with the breakdowns. Is it possible to go every other year? I know by the schools, you definitely would want to make sure they're
By the
marked.
schools, our plan is to hit that every single year.
Right,
So,
yeah. But maybe you can do some of the other stuff so you don't have to do it every year. I don't know.
Right.
But
We do have some money in the budget for some hot epoxy this year too, so.
okay, all right. Anybody else have any questions? Okay, thank you, Chris.
You're welcome.
Next, we'll have the construction update from Tom Turchi, city engineer. Tom.
All right, last year, you remember we had started that sanitary sewer interceptor relocation project for the Van de Waters project. That has gotten finished this week, so they've finished all the restoration and they have got a good hit on the punch list. Sanitary sewer contract 2021-02, which is our Blodgett Street reconstruction from Wood to St. Joe's, A Street sanitary sewer from Central to Cedar, and then Cedar Avenue from 8th to 400 feet north, and also Lincoln Avenue from Blodgett to Briarwood. We're having the pre-construction meeting on that project here this Thursday. I asked for a schedule to kind of understand what their overall plan is. They told me they'd have it before the pre-construction meeting, so I don't have anything to really share for you schedule-wise there yet. But next time we have a meeting, we will. And then finally, just a quick note, the city subdivision contract is going to be online tomorrow.
Anybody have any questions for Tom? Okay, thank you, Tom. Number 6, presentation of wastewater compliance maintenance annual report presented by Sam Warp, wastewater superintendent. Sam.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The CMAR, or Compliance Maintenance Annual Report, is a requirement by the DNR. It started back in the very early 1990s. The purpose of it is so we have some communication between staff and the council as far as what condition the plant is in. So it does have a good reason. It's a good cause. There's 27 pages. I just printed out a few of them to kind of highlight some of the things. On the first one there, it kind of goes through what we get for hauled in waste. We average 43 truckloads a day coming in for hauled in waste from the countryside. But when you total it all up, that's only 4.5% of our actual flow. So we have a lot more capacity. We're probably about 60% capacity at the plant. So we've got room for more businesses to come in and more houses too. So next one. This one, I wanted to point out, there were 2 months where we actually went over what will be the new phosphorus limit at the end of 2023. I don't really want to spend any money on chemicals, so we were well within compliance. We just have to be below 1. But it kind of shows you that we're kind of on that line. Be nice to have a little bit of insurance sometime in the future, and working with Dan on that right now on some trials, so we can have a little bit more level of safety. Wouldn't be the end of the world if we went over, but if you know it's coming, you should plan for it. So. The next one coming up is a lot of people ask us how much do we actually clean and televise in a year. We set a goal of 42% that we clean every year as a minimum, and we went over it again this year, which is good, about 48%. Same as televising, we try to televise as much as we can, and we were way over our goal again this year. You don't really have to televise every year because that pipe underneath the ground doesn't really change a lot. You do see, we save all our videos. We've saved every video we've ever taken. So we can go back in and show you the progression of lines as they deteriorate. And that's how we set up our asset management program, so we know which lines need to be lined or replaced, which segments, because we've watched them over time degrade and see which ones need the most help. So very important that we get that stuff done so we can plan for the future. This one here, try to go over. Last year was a dry year. We averaged 32 inches and we were actually under that. The year before we had 48 inches of rain. So that was a very wet year. The neat thing, and I didn't want to get into it here with all the facts and figures, but even with 48 inches last year, we were still under our long-term average for water coming into the plant. So all the fixing, all the lining of the mains, fixing of the manholes, replacing the mains and laterals, that's all paying dividends, and it pays dividends every single year. When I started, we were over 3 million gallons a day. Last year, we were at 2.5 million gallons. The year before, we were only at 2.7 million gallons. So we're definitely in a great downward trend, and it takes time, it costs money, it's painful, but it pays off, and it'll be paying off for many years.
Sam, it's like your cleaning that you talked about too. I bet you don't have as many calls as what you used to, because that's the advantage. There used to be a lot of calls.
Yeah, ask Mike Winch about that. He had thousands in his career, and now if we get one or two where it's actually a city problem in a year, that would be high. I think last year we didn't have any. So it's all that preventative, working towards the future. So I think we come up to the last page, and we got a 4.0. And so it means we have no required maintenance that we have to do. Like I said, we're working towards, the one shining thing is still that phosphorus that we're going to have to work on. And we actually have some trials. If you get bored in the next 2 weeks, you can come down to the wastewater plant. We have a disc filter trial, which is some newer technology. We had one a few weeks ago, and this is a competitor we brought in. Worked fantastic. It would solve every problem we wanted. So, but we've got a few more steps before we make that jump yet. So I guess the next step is, if it gets approved, it'll go to a resolution by the Common Council, and they send it into the DNR, and everybody's happy.
What is your motion, Mr. Fire? I would just add, if you agree with it, that as part of that motion, Sam and the staff have been doing an awesome job over the years, and this is no exception, if you would agree with that. Second by Mr. Marshall. Okay, questions? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Thank you, Sam.
Thank you.
Number 7, set date and time for first Board of Public Works meeting in July, presented by Dan Connect, Director of Public Works. Dan. Oh, did I miss one?
Yeah, back up to...
Oh, contractors, I'm sorry. I'm trying to set a record here. Pre-qualification of additional contractors for 2021 construction, presented by Tom Turchie, City Engineer. Tom.
All right, for a lot of our projects, we ask for pre-construction or pre-qualification, and we've had 2 additional pre-qualifieds that have requested to be involved in bidding, and they are Earth Incorporated of Arpin and Haas Sons Incorporated of Thorpe, Wisconsin. The other ones that are on the list are already pre-qualified for this year's work. Therefore, I recommend that the Board of Public Works approve the contractors listed in the enclosed table as pre-qualified to bid on 2021 construction.
Motion by Mr. Rosendich, second by Mr. Fisher. Questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Okay, let's go to number 7, Dan. Set date and time for first Board of Public Works meeting in July.
Thank you. Yes, so the first Monday of July falls on the holiday, the July 4th holiday. So in this case, we're suggesting we meet on Tuesday, the 6th at 5:30 PM. And last time we followed the Finance Committee, this time we'll go ahead of the Finance. With that, I'd recommend your approval.
Motion. Mr. Fire, second. Mr. Varsho. Comments, question? Go ahead.
5:30?
5:30, yep.
5:30?
Mhm.
5:30.
Does that work for you? Okay. All right, any discussion? Otherwise, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Number 8, recommended items for future agendas. Anybody have anything to put on the future agenda? Okay, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn. Mr. Rosendich, second by Mr. Varsho. Thank you. We are adjourned.